Former federal prosecutor of the Eastern District of Virginia, Joseph Moreno, joins me. Joe, how do you reconcile in this post is that the president is facing this indictment that's just loaded with counts. And then we've got President Biden, who's had those documents in his office downtown, and then he's got them in his garage with access. Everybody, his brother could have his access, actually his son. And then you've got Hillary Clinton with the 31,000 emails, and you've got Bill Clinton with the socks, with 7. And, you know, like, everyone out there wants to see things sort of justice meted out evenly. And I realize Trump is, you know, he fights back hard, but what do you tell the American people?
I mean, look, I get it, right? I get that a lot of people see how Donald Trump is being treated, and they feel like he is being piled on by this Department of Justice compared to all the other examples you just listed out, right? And at the same time, I see people saying, wait a minute, this so-called independent Justice Department is being super lenient on the president's son. So how do you reconcile the two things? I get that, and both those things can be true. It doesn't change the fact, though, that Donald Trump is facing a real case here. And this Justice Department is not backing down. So people might feel like he's being victimized here. But the fact is he's got to take this seriously because this DOJ is gunning for him.
All right. Now let me talk about the plea deal with Hunter Biden, because I mean, people are sort of weighing those next to each other. You've got sort of the technical issue about whether the judge should be part of deciding whether or not he violates his probation, if he does violate his probation. She didn't like that because she said it's none of her business. That's between the prosecution and defense. But you've got this one clause in the diversion agreement, not in the plea agreement, but sort of tucked in the diversion agreement that we didn't see until yesterday. We get blanket immunity for anything. And a problem is that when you look at his history, there are, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars in foreign governments, and we don't have, you know, it may be totally innocent, but we certainly don't have a lot of information about it.
It's an abomination. I mean,
have you ever done anything like this as a prosecutor?
I mean, apparently the judge asked the prosecutor, had he ever done anything like this? And he had to concede, no, I haven't. Look, those tax charges should have been felony tax evasion. The fact that they slow-walked this investigation so that 2 years were lapsed because the statute of limitations had run, right? The fact that he got a diversion, which itself is completely unusual. Add all of those things up, that's bad enough. But the immunity that was tucked in there in the sneakiest of ways, look, I'm so glad the judge did her job, because otherwise no one would have noticed until it was too late.
All right, so then how do you reconcile, okay, let's assume Trump did this thing with the classified documents. He could do more damage with stuff in his head than he could with a bunch of boxes full of documents. He's read this stuff. You know, anyone in this town, he's read it. So we're worried about this. When you see this treatment, how can you reconcile, even if they're gunning for Trump and he has to take it seriously, he's got more stuff he could do in his memory than he could with a bunch of documents.
Look, there was a time after the Mar-a-Lago raid last summer where I actually thought maybe they're going to let this go. You know, no harm, no foul. They've recovered the documents. Trump didn't destroy them. He didn't pass them off on the black market, right? He didn't make photocopies of them. They got the documents back where they belong. But they're taking it seriously. Then why don't they take Hunter Biden seriously? Why does he get the blank check? Well, it's probably not a coincidence that he sits atop of the branch of government that runs the execution of the laws.
But that's what you've got to sell to the American people, that the justice system is fair.
I fully agree, but I don't think this administration feels they have to sell anything. I think they're going to charge ahead. They got the Hunter Biden easy deal going, and they got the Donald Trump throwing the book at him. And look, again, I think we agree, and many people agree, this is not fair. But Donald Trump has to take this real seriously, because they're not backing down. As we saw, that they're doubled down this week. And so Trump's got to take this real seriously. It's a real, liability.
Joseph Moreno, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Greta.
Still ahead, he stood up to Putin, threatened with death.